Welcome guys to a new video on Team Crushing the Meta, and today we have a new video you guys where we're going to go over the new Chronicle strides that were already released like a week or two or so ago. I probably think you guys already know the skills. I will not go very like this is the new stride. I will just go over and give my thoughts about it, how I think about it, and what the possibilities can be, because this stride at first glance was I expected something different than a multi-tech stride, but they gave us a new stride that can multi-tech, and it has some new possibilities where I was first like, okay, I wanted to something be a bit different, but okay, we got it, and we will just see what we can bring to it. So if you guys have noticed it, we also post all the new strides on Facebook, so just follow us on there, and we will go just straight into the video because we have a stride to review or a stride to cover, and of course a G Guardian. So for the stride, it's Hybrid Team Schliesma, and what she essentially does is on the attack you can bind the frontal record circle, call 2 cards from your bind zone, and the frontal gain 10k, and that's everything on attack for his first skill. So she can make 2 extra attacks, but you need to set up your bind zone. So is this okay? I would say in the timely variant this is okay-ish, because this stride is actually better in terms of multi-attack in the timely variant than history build does. But the catch to it is you need to have already almost a perfect field in your hand to be set up, and that's something the deck sometimes struggles with, because what I mean with that, you need to have a TikTok work, of course, to set up your element in your bind zone, and you need to of course have a history maker set up so you can make the most potential out of it. And with that, it just means, do you have TikTok worker, a TikTok worker, a melon, and a history maker on hand? If so, this stride is better when it comes to multi-tech. But you will lose out on the extra 3k the history build can give, which is actually major into the Exo and Protect matchups, because they're 12k base usually, and it can also be a huge deal against forest clans, especially when you need to go combo further, because history maker can be 15k also if you bind or flip up a second history build. But it's an extra option, and where I can see this deck shine majorly is in the extra turn deck with Mystery Flare Turbo, which I think this card is really good for the deck, because you have to make a choice for your, let's say for example, first stride, to go either into Ragnarok Dragon or go into Mid-Boss Altered Dragon, I think. And the catch to that is with Ragnarok is that your opponent cannot guard with grade 0s, but if they're still on grade 2, you of course can heal guard, which makes it a bit clunky. With Altered Dragon it's good against PGs, but still it's high attack with 2-4, so also heal guard. And this can make you still have the pressure on the Vanguard circle, but you have the pressure also on your Vanguard circle. So this is a great stride if you want to stride on your opponent's grade 2, of course. And this is where the deck really shines at, because you already have your bind zone set up, everything like that, but because that's the whole catch to the deck, and you want to turbo into that. And then for the second skill, because also a skill in the G zone, which I really like, and it's sort of a if you guys know the Shirabugi Bastard or Shirabugi Victor song, Fumukumo has a similar type of skill, but not entirely, because at the end of the battle you grade 3 will get attacked. If this card face up, you can Soul Blast 1 bind to grade 3, and then you can call this to rearguard circle, and this just extends the number of attacks you can do. And this is really good, because let's say for example you're into your Great Goofy turn, you usually don't care about what you flip. So it may sound weird, but let's say for example let's say for example you go into history build flips another history build on your first stride, then you go into your second stride, which will be Gear Goofy, and then you flip Gear Goofy with Gear Goofy, you flip history build, you can flip whatever you want, you can also flip history build again, it's a potential, but you can also now decide to flip this so you can make more attacks, but it's after the Gear Goofy attack, so it can be a choice. And then of course you have your Gear Goofy that flips a Ragnarok, next stage, whatever you want, what you decide on that turn, of course. So extra potential, I don't think it's majorly used in the timely variant, because history build is still more consistent and can just get everything out of the deck and make a plus because of overtime. But this is better if you have a perfect hand set up already. But since the timely period doesn't really have an early game, like it has a little bit of early game where you go into your grade 4, then right back to your grade 3 and make a Forcemongers. But what I really hope for is a strike that can make field on its own, or either give like a sort of continuous skill to power to the field. And what I mean with that is sort of like an auto ability where it says for every card you bind you can give something 5k. It's not majorly impactful in the sense that you don't like you have some cards for 6 gear Chronicle, but it's more that you can push through defense numbers with Metal, of course. But they didn't give that. It was just my expectations, and we just got this. And it's alright. Like you also have the Steam Maiden variant, where this card can come up because you also want to set up your binds. So you have a binds set up. Then you have, I think, like you have the bind deck. You have the Steam Maiden deck, and you have the Turbo Mystery Flare deck, and you have the Time Loop deck. That's 4 decks you can make a premium. Of course, you have other decks as well, but those are the major 4. And for now, like the Steam Maiden deck can use of it, the Bind deck can make use of it, Mystery Flare Turbo. So I don't really complain because it's still an upgrade from what they got, but I wish they got a more generic sense of stride that can make field, because all of the decks really needed that, because almost every stride or any tactic you want to go for with Gear Chronicle, you need to have something in your hand to work with, and you kinda need something to fuel that engine. And yeah, this card can also make that because you bind 1 card and get 2 cards back, but you need to set up your bind so once again. So it's not the easiest stride, it's not the most plussing stride, but it's a good round stride which can make multi-tech, can make a little bit of field if you control it well, and has some high payoff once again. Almost all of the strides in Gear Chronicle, but we still need something to push our opponent early onward. So when we go into striding, amazing. Does it help us in the early game? Of course not, because it's stride. And that's really it for that stride. There are some other possibilities as well, but we will just go over it later when we have tested and everything with the stride. Then we go to the G-Guard, because this is an interesting G-Guard in the sense that I hoped, like my personal hope was a G-Guard that can time leap during the opponent's turn. Amazing, right? Yeah? Do sure, please do that once. Please. But we got a stride that's, or not a stride, I mean a G-Guard that's totally different, because it's a stride, like with the Hyper Steam Maiden stride, it really worked with 4 or like 3 of the 4 variants, where Time Leap can also make a bit of use of it. And this stride is the other way around, in my personal opinion, because this stride really works well with the Time Leap variant, it really works well with the Turbo Mystery Flare deck, but the Bind deck and the Steam Maiden deck doesn't really work well with it. And we will just go over the skill. So what it essentially says is you can discard the sum of grade 3 or greater, then it gains 20k shield. If you discard the sum of grade 6 or greater, so essentially discard 2 cards most of the time, then you can for a counter blast gain a PG effect, just getting a skill that you cannot be hit. That's really good, because what it can make is that you don't need to use a PG, of course, and also the fact that it's in your G zone, where it's just you can play it as a one-off and have access to it whenever you want. But that's what I said, is in the Bind deck you usually don't really play a lot of grade 3s and 4s, so the discard skill is kinda heavy, or kinda clunky rather to say. In the Steam Maiden deck, you also don't play a lot of grade 3s or 4s, or you don't even play any grade 4s at this moment of time. You play grade 3s most of the time, and not any grade 1s or 2s that count as grade 3s. In the Timely variant, I personally play Air Cup, and you also have Smoke and everything like that that can work around with it. And they have the Mystery Flare Turbo deck, which plays a bunch of grade 3s and 4s. So it like helps 2 of the 4 decks that's currently in the Chronicle arsenal, but for the decks that can, like, for the decks that work with the Binder, they already have a great G card in the sense of the CTB G card. It essentially gains 20k shield when you have set up a little bit of a Binder. But for the Timely variant, you don't actually have that, because you have the Ulu G card, the flip one, which can be majorly huge. Only the point of that is it needs to be late into the game. It's like huge when you go into your gear goofy turn, and after that it's huge. You have usually like 7-8 cards in the G zone at that point, but then of course the Uluchi card can be like 5k for everyone, so that's 20k. Is that correct? Yeah, 20k. Around 20k. But that's major. But it's late in the game, because at the point you're going into Goofy, your opponent needs to be already dead. So why would you even go into, or why would you even play a G card that only works after that? And the G cards we have before that are usually like 5k extra shield, 10k extra shield, or have a disruption in the form of a head round. This card is essentially discard X amount of trees, or a discard air cap, which is a 5k shield, and then gain 20k shield on top of it. So it essentially is plus 15k shield, and it feels in a little bit of a gap in that scenario. So it works well for decks that don't set up a bind zone that amazingly, like Time Leap. But for the other decks it doesn't really do that much. Then of course you can say, but you can work around card restrict and everything like that. Yes, because you can PG effect if you discard 2 or more, with the sum of them being grade 3 or greater, or being 6 or greater. But that's true, but usually all the card restricts, if you want to PG, you already need to put 2 cards on top of it, because one for the PG effect and one for the cards restrict or the battle door effect they bring. So it's essentially the same, only it's fetchable from G zone. So I think we will either see this at 1 in the G zone or not see it play it at all, just because of how the effect works out. So for the premium collection stripe, I'm happy for them to be there, because they fill in a gap. Do they bring enough to the clan? I don't think so yet, and that's like, they're not that bad of cards themselves, but it's just the environment they're in. Like, let's say for example the Steam main deck has some more consistency to it, and has some more steam. Now, not per se steam, because when it high rolls, or not high rolls, it just slaughters the opponent. But if it has more consistency, I can see the stride at least working for them perfectly. And it's just a matter of time how these traits will develop, of course, and how we can make them abused in our testing. But that's just however we see fit, and that will be for the future. At least I have gave my thoughts about it, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you have any questions, comment down below, or just direct message me through Facebook or anything like that. Because I always like to discuss with people on how certain cards, decks, and ideas people come up with, of course. So comment down below, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.